Welcome to the first episode of our podcast. Today we are discussing why the next generation of electric cars will be radically different and why the Western car industry must act now to stay ahead. I'm Manuel Kuder, one of the co-founders of PULSETRAIN, and sitting with me is Thomas and Niclas.
Hi Manuel, nice to meet you today.
Nice to meet you today. You want to describe yourself a little bit?
Yes, I can do. My name is Thomas. I'm the CEO from PULSETRAIN, and I'm responsible for the development and the innovation team.
Thank you. And Niclas?
My name is Niclas. I'm the COO of PULSETRAIN, and I'm responsible for all the operational stuff.
Hello. First question: What is PULSETRAIN in one sentence?
I would say best describes it with we are pioneering revolutionary inverter and BMS technology to address today's EV challenges.
Nice one. What sets PULSETRAIN apart from other battery technology companies?
I would say, in my point of view, we are not a conventional battery technology company. Our focus and our secret of our technology is deep in the software. We develop algorithms and programming software for the multilevel inverter technology, which has much more parts in the software as in the hardware.
Yeah.
Well defined.
Well defined. I would also say we are software guys, not hardware guys. We are building hardware to sell our software. They control algorithms behind the technology. How it all began. How did we meet and what led to the creation of PULSETRAIN?
I think the major thing we learned in the past was that if you are operating in the mobility industry, and to be a bit more precise, aiming for the automotive industry, it's not only about tech, but it's also about speed. So if you are able to scale faster and to move into the market faster than others, then your likelihood to succeed is way higher than if you are a slow player in the game. And for that reason, we've been thinking of how to reach this aim of scaling faster than the others. And as I said, it's not only about tech, it's also about the know-how and how to scale this tech. And that's basically how we met, and the idea behind why we even met. To, on one side, have the tech impact and the tech know-how, but on the other side also scale the team and the organization in a pace that is competing with all the big players in the industry.
Yeah, one big part is also that Leo König and Torge Tönnissen from Custom Cells is now in our team. So the path to scale up the technology in automotive is clear. We will do it like Custom Cells with Cellforce for Porsche. Though I think we have everything in our team what we need to revolutionize the automotive industry. What are our early challenges and what we have learned out of it?
I think one of the earliest changes or challenge was that whenever you're operating in a settled industry, everything takes more time than you would expect. And the art in this context is that you need to survive from the first point of contact until a customer is really paying you. And bridging this gap by surviving and financing this gap, that was a learning curve we made in the past, which at least I myself did not expect to be that intense. But so far we've been quite successful, I would say.
A nice ride for the last years.
I know.
Yeah. What led us into battery technology and power electronics?
I myself, as your anticipation, led me into the industry because I'm a non-tech guy. It was more or less an accident. But whenever you're diving deeper into the mobility industry and especially into the electrification of mobility, it turns out quite fast that there is not so many components that play a crucial role, but batteries, power electronics, and software, for me, are the three key players. And we are developing two of them and handling one of it. So we combine everything you need to have a really big impact in the mobility industry and to really revolutionize it and enhance and enable the electrification of the industry.
Yeah, for sure. If we want to build a new powertrain, we have to look into batteries, into power electronics, and into the motor. Just then it's possible to revolutionize everything. Yeah. Why is now the perfect point to get multi-level technology into the automotive sector?
So I think if you had a look, or if you have a look on the history of electrifying mobility, then like roughly the last decade, the industry players have been focusing, and especially the OEMs, on doing the basic work to electrify and to really push an electrified vehicle into the market. So a lot of work that has been done was work that needs to be done to transform an industry and to really create a base layer where you can start from. And at least I see that this process is now already done and already finalized, and what we will see in the future and as the next steps is that we are now not so much anymore focusing on like electrifying in general, but really on refining and reshaping on how we've been electrifying. So technology and the improvement of technology especially, to offer a better product than your competitor is getting more and more important, as it was in the past, like combustion engine industry. So we've reached now a point where we are talking more about like deep tech and improving vehicles via technology, and that's a really good starting point for us, because we like took the time that was taken by electrifying in general and basically prepared the technology to be ready for the implementation into the industry and to bringing it into the industry. And as we can see it on the traction we are getting from all directions, I think we met this point and we met the sweet spot of like the right timing of introducing a new technology into an old industry. So for us, the right point is because the industry has now done the first step and we are part of the second step, and we are pushing the second step now with all what we have.
The world is ready for electromobility 2.0. Yeah, for me, the major impact or the perfect timing is because of the semiconductors. The MOSFETs are ready now for being that cheap that it's cheaper to have a lot of MOSFETs in the system than a conventional system. What do you think is the impact of our technology on the automotive industry?
My point of view, we have a great impact in the whole automotive industry, but not only in the automotive industry alone, also in the battery cell manufacturing industry. We revolutionize the cell manufacturing, we revolutionize the whole powertrain in the automotive sector, and also our technology can be used in second use applications. So we have not only the impact in the automotive industry.
Yeah, for sure. That's the major point for me. The impact will be that big, nobody can imagine, because we can do a cheaper manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
On each step, we can do things better. Yeah, for sure. Then, what makes PULSETRAIN battery technology unique?
I think, and this adds up to the previous point, the technology itself is not focused on like the pure application inside an EV. It's always the broader view we are taking into account, and the broader view is basically when you have a look at an electric vehicle, what is the most important part of it? Obviously, it's the battery. That's the most valuable thing, the most expensive thing, not only like cost-wise, but also resource-wise. So whenever you have the chance to not only produce a battery pack, use it in a vehicle, and then straight put it into recycling, then you are already improving the overall process. And that's why we really strongly focus on, let's call it a kind of life cycle management, starting with the production, like improving the first life application within the vehicle with a high efficiency with a high lifetime, and in a third place, with an easy transformation for a second life use case, meaning that we can use the battery packs that have been used in the mobility industry, transforming it into, for example, a stationary energy storage for wind or solar power plants, using it again, and after this second use case or even a third use case, closing the loop by then going into the recycling process, meaning that in the end, we are always having a look on like the broader landscape of how you can use batteries and making the most out of every battery cell that comes out from the factory, to really put it into the last step, and that's always recycling, but using it before as efficient as possible.
Yeah, for me, the unique point is that you have intelligence on each cell. If the cell is intelligent, we have more data. This is what
I think that is what is not seen so much in the like mobility and battery industry so far, but that's also like one of the key players for AI. Whenever you have good data, then you can generate good results. Whenever you have bad data, you will generate bad results. And on our side, data generation has a higher quality. We evaluate it on ourselves or on our side, and with this can create better results, and that's why data.
The system is that complex that it's necessary to solve the problem data-driven.
Exactly.
And data-driven Internet of Things is a big keyword, but has also a big impact on the world and for our application. What do we see? Where do we see PULSETRAIN in 5 years?
I think in 5 years we have our technology automotive ready, series production ready, and for this we work day by day hard to develop on the one hand the components for the multi-level inverter technology, and on the other hand we are looking in parallel beside the development for production partners to be ready to produce our system in round about 5 years.
Perfect. Then everything is said. What are major milestones on the horizon?
I think one major milestone is, like as Thomas already said, finding the right timeline to really go into industrialization, because like if you're industrializing too early, then you might get not perfect product.
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of pulling from different OEMs.
But on the other hand, 80% is already perfect. So we are moving into the sweet spot of having a more or less perfect product and timing it right for industrialization, so that we not only focus on technology but like absolutely clearly on industrializing the tech.
Yeah, perfect. Though the next episode will be about what we have talked, though more in detail about the technology. If you are thinking right now, sounds like a good idea, but what is behind it? Listen to the next episode. Thank you for your time. Thank you to coming to the podcast for the first episode of our PULSETRAIN podcast.
Thank you, Manuel, for inviting us.
It was a
Thank
pleasure.
you.